Hello and welcome back to the True Crime Comedy Podcast, Murderess Podcast. I am your host, Sidney Smith. Today I am joined by the very funny, very lovely Miss Ashley Rose. We will get to her in a second. Pay attention to me over here. Don't look over there. Thank you guys for checking out the podcast. For those of you who've never listened to us on Spotify, iHeart, Apple, this is our 64th episode. We talk about real life murders committed by women. Some of them are serial killers. Some are just simple old plain old murders. But I want to thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, make sure that you went ahead and you click subscribe so you can kind of see everything that I'm downloading onto my channel, Sidney Smith Creative. And for those of you who are listening, finding us for the first time, please go ahead and click that subscribe right now. Get us downloaded in there. And also leave us a nice review on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. Or you can just maybe take a link and shoot it off to a friend of yours. Let them know what's going on. Say, I'm listening to this dude's groovy voice, and I think you should listen to it too. All right, let's get to our guest co-host. What's up, Ashley?
What's up, Sydney?
How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Before we get too deep into this, I want everyone to know that Ashley is one super, super dope, super funny, one of the most professional comics. I wouldn't say female comics. Let's just say as a comic.
Thank you.
That get a chance to work with. But boy, did she really fuck up the intro several times walking into this room. And, if we can just do this better, if we get a chance to do this again, if you could just walk in. That's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think anyone believes that.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to put, that's what I do. I'm a truth teller. That's what I do, Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Ash, you sound like a woman who's married to a man who ain't worth shit, and you don't want to say it at the dinner party. So how's things at home? Is he doing a good job? Mm-hmm.
Unmarried.
Well said.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to jump into something with you.
Yeah.
I want to jump into the hottest topic for the last week. Well, even longer if we talk about the leak that happened a couple of months ago. Only because we talked about this on my other podcast for people out there who don't know. I have another one called Not As Debatable. And on that one, it's very cool. We get a chance to do it live on Facebook Live, and we get a chance to talk to our viewers, and they ask questions. We ask them questions, so it's a conversation. And I think one of my biggest issues when it comes to abortion and when it comes to it being legal and not legal or overturned now is that we don't let women have enough of a say in the conversations. Mm-hmm. And so that was something I was happy we were able to do on Sunday when we had the discussion and recorded that podcast. I want to do that with you.
Yeah.
Where are you sitting on it being overturned? Because I know there's some women obviously out there who are pro-life and they love it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you are or not. And for people out there who are watching, she and I did not talk about this. I just walked into the building 10 minutes ago, and we did not text. We did not do anything. So she's catching this question. I say, hey, is there anything off limits? She said, no,
Nope.
There's nothing off limits.
Nope.
And so this is something I wanted to jump into, and maybe we'll talk about a couple other things. We will get to murder, because it's murderous. We'll get there. But I do want to talk to you about that. Where are you sitting with it?
All right. So this is a delicate topic, right? And I have my own opinions on it. And
Give
let
it.
me just say, I don't affiliate with any political party. I'm registered as an independent. I form my own thoughts about everything, and I go some things conservative, some things liberal. But with abortion, I definitely don't think it should be illegal. I think there are a lot of very valid reasons why someone would need one, and to have that taken away and have that ability to make that choice taken away, it's very sad. For the Jewish people, I'm Jewish, it is in the religion that abortion needs to be made available if that pregnancy puts the mother's life at risk.
And I learned that on Sunday because one of my viewers threw that on the table because she's Jewish, and I never knew that.
It's true. And I mean, there's a lot of legitimate reasons. Now, I will say this, and maybe people aren't going to be a big fan of it. I don't particularly care for when women use it as a means of birth control. I think that is a little irresponsible. However, I still don't think that it should be taken away altogether.
Right.
Right. I'm not necessarily for that, but I definitely understand reasons why women need to make that choice. And I don't think it's an easy choice. I've never been in that position personally. So I try really hard not to judge and cast judgment on why people go down that path. But I definitely
Go down the path of having an abortion.
I mean, there's so many reasons why it could happen, right? And, I think a lot of people just think that most women who do it are just being irresponsible or using it as a form of birth control. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of that. But there are a million reasons why somebody might need to do that, from health reasons for the mother or the baby, or like rape or incest. Like there's a million reasons why. And it's just so unfair to have that taken away.
I shared on Sunday, on Now It's Debatable, you can listen to that everywhere you listen to podcasts as well, that I knew a girl several years ago where she used it as a form of birth control. She had 4, maybe 5 abortions she had in a short period of time. And I remember everyone within our group, no one would just come out and tell her that she was shitty for doing it or saying anything like that. But even the women, the girls, I should say, because we were very young, thought it was a shitty thing, and some being young, some people made light of it, but no one ever said she didn't have the right to do it. I think when it comes to abortion, the question isn't even about the child for me, or if or the living being, or whatever you want to call that baby. For me, it's not even about that. It is about what's right and wrong in terms of taking something away from someone that they should be allowed to do with their body.
Right.
So for me, that's why God never comes into play with this question or anything else, because it's just, should I or should you or should the government have a right to tell you what to do with your body?
Correct. I believe in that too. I'm also a very spiritual person and believe I always look at people's intentions, right? What is the intention? And I think when your intentions are good, that's not something that karma is going to come bite you in the ass for. But if you're doing this over and over and over and over again, hey, it's not for me to judge. That's karma. That's God. That's going to work itself out in the end. I am not. I actually said this today to somebody, as someone who believes in God, right? That it's not our job to judge ever. Our job is just to love. And I always try to lead with that. I remember that. I really try not to judge people. Because you don't know unless you're in that situation. And thank God I haven't ever been in that kind of a situation to make that decision. But I know it exists, and I know that's probably a very hard thing for women who face it. So it's absolutely their right to have that made available.
Absolutely. The other thing that I say about this situation is they like to throw the number out a lot, and it's a big number. 85% of the country believes that abortion should be legal, should be a woman's right.
Yeah.
And I made a quick little meme, and I threw it up on IG yesterday. Maybe it was yesterday, and I threw it up on Facebook. I'm paraphrasing myself. 85% of the country believes it should be legal. How many of those people actually vote?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, that was the question.
Oh, okay.
How many of them actually vote? Because that's what matters. I don't care about your poll. I don't care if 85% of the country says it. We don't get 85% of the country to even vote for the president, let alone what happens for midterms and for your own local elections.
Right.
And that's where these things are lost. And that's where this was lost, was because you don't vote. And because all you do care about is going out and marching and things like that. So while it's a terrible thing, sometimes I think these people, that 85%, they need to look in the mirror and say, how much of a role did I play in us getting to where we are right now?
Yeah.
And I don't see enough of that.
It's not going to happen.
And I'm not saying that it will.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I'm speaking as an ex-Republican but still conservative. I'm only not a Republican because they let that fool Trump in and that's the only reason I walked out. I was a lifelong Republican, but I'm still a conservative. I hate when people just say independent, because you can be an independent of a party, but you still lean one way or the other.
Yeah, I probably lean more conservative than I do liberal, but I really don't side 100% with either party.
No, and that's fine. Even as a registered Republican, I didn't vote just straight ticket for the sake of voting straight ticket. Yeah. I think that's crazy. There's people who do that without even wondering what the issues are. Right. Yeah. There's people I'm happy and ready to vote out. I'm happy and ready to vote Sinema right out of office. I can't wait till I get the opportunity. She's not coming up anytime soon, but I'm looking forward when the time comes, because I voted for her to get her in, and I don't think she's done what she said she was going to do. So I'm looking forward to voting her. And I don't know what she wants to be. She wants to be a Democrat who wants to be conservative, and sometimes she just wants to be a straight Democrat who wants to play liberal. And she drives me absolutely up the wall.
They all swing and flow with whatever. Yeah.
I expect it, but I expect that you are going to allow yourself to be held accountable And I do not believe she
Come on,
does at all.
Sidney.
So, well, there are some. There are some that will come out and stand up in front and have a town hall and at least answer a question or two.
Yeah.
You got to chase this broad into the bathroom with a camera to get any questions out of her. She won't come out. The bitch won't come out the stall. So, anyway.
Could be constipation.
Okay. All right, then. Constipation. Kristen Cinema is constipated. She's a lot of things with them big old plastic earrings like she wears on her ear, like she models for Kmart
Did
jewelry.
not know you were going to say earrings when you said big ol', but yeah.
What did you think I was going to say?
Boobs.
I can't get to her boobs because I can't get past those big old bright color earrings she wears like she's a 6-year-old.
Okay, I'm going to have to pay attention.
You are a grown woman. Get some studs or something, or some pearls. Get something in your head. What are we doing?
I don't know. Now I'm going to have to go Google that later.
Any girl who wears, look, I'm going to look right to the camera. Can y'all, lock it in on me. If you are a woman, a grown woman over the age, let's say 25, I'm going to give you 4 years to get out of college, out of your parents' house, to put that degree to good use. If you are a grown woman over the age of 25 with a degree, you know what? Fuck the degree. If you have a job and you are wearing earrings that are the same color as your shirt, kick your own ass. I was going to say something else, but kick your own ass. It's absolute nonsense.
All right.
Absolute nonsense.
I don't do that, so I'm not offended.
You should not be offended.
I wouldn't. It would take a lot to offend me anyhow.
I don't know about that, but you should not be offended.
Definitely not
This little
offended.
baby over there.
I'm not.
All right. Okay, take it easy. Why she
Only one of us got sensitive today when we were very tardy to our own podcast.
Don't put the camera on her. Do not put the camera on her. All right, no one's back there listening to me. Who's directing this thing? All right.
Not you.
I see that. I see. Ashley, let's talk comedy real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
How long have you been doing stand-up?
Oh my gosh, I think I'm going into like my somewhere between maybe 5 or 6 years now, maybe 6 years.
Full time, just straight up stand-up of 5 or 6 years straight?
Yeah, I just jumped right into it. It was a total accident getting into comedy.
Because I can't stand those comedians that tell me they've been doing comedy for 20 years and you actually been doing open mics off and on for 20 years. All right.
No, I jumped right into my first book show and had never done it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how's it going?
Good. I mean, it's great. I've been very lucky in the comedy scene, running shows and getting booked. And I just did a show in Hawaii, and I've done shows at the Comedy Store in LA twice. I've done shows there. I mean, you've done shows there. That's quite an honor, right? That's like the comedy mecca, I think, and it's a big deal.
It is the mecca. I've done the store 4 times. I've done it more than people I know who live in LA. So
it's a big deal. So yeah, I've been very lucky in the scene.
Deal.
Yeah.
It's not luck though. I never give credit to myself as being luck. I work very hard. Yeah. You work very hard. It can't be luck.
Well, I'm a bit of a hippie, like a big spiritual hippie dippy, and I believe in like manifestation and stuff.
You should have walked in like that, like this. What did I think?
Maybe next time. So I think you manifest things, and sometimes that is luck, actually. I mean.
Okay, this is finally we found a point of contention beyond.
Well, listen, a lot of times in this business, and I think that you could agree, there are comedians who have made it very far and who are very famous, who are not very funny.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So is that talent or is it luck? Is it because they knew the right person and had the right doors open, or is it just because they're just so talented?
I think it's more often going to be because you put the work in. Those lucky stories, if you want to call them that, come far and few between.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart has a great quote. I'm going to paraphrase it, so I'm not going to try to get it just right. But he says, the ones who make it are the ones who don't quit.
It's true. Persistence, right? And consistency throughout the years.
So you can be not funny, but for whatever reason, that network exec or that agent or that whatever it can be, just sees whatever they see in you. Maybe
would we call that a lucky break?
No, I would not call it a lucky break.
Okay. Right.
I would say if you walk in here and you haven't done comedy in 2 years and get up and do something, then maybe I might say, oh, that was a lucky break that you just happened to walk in off the street and do something. But if you've been consistently putting in work, grinding, you don't get to go do the Comedy Store out of luck.
Well, that was a connection through a friend.
That's not luck.
Okay.
That's not luck. Would that friend put his or her name on the line for you if you sucked ass and were not a hard worker?
No, they wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love being right. Man, this is my favorite. I might have to have people on more often because it's even greater feeling to be right just through audio, but to have it on video is
Yeah,
much
whatever
sweeter.
you need to tell yourself.
Much sweeter.
Okay.
So who's your favorite comedian?
Oh my gosh, there's quite a few. I love Tom Segura. I love
Tom is great.
John Mulaney.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he's so funny.
Okay.
I really like Michelle Wolf.
I am a big fan of her writing.
She's good.
I've tried to work with her a couple of times, and she canceled both times.
I'm sorry to hear that. I think she's hilarious.
I have the biggest crush on Michelle Wolf.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a crush too. She's so funny. I love her, I guess, just like her style and the way that she just carries herself on stage and the way she kind of giggles at her own jokes as she's telling them. Like,
I enjoy her stuff so much because I was just listening to a woman at the bar speak with her voice, I would like, oh my God, I got to walk away. But her writing is so clever,
so good.
and her performance is, speaking of what you said, is so good.
So good.
You almost forget about it.
Yeah. You know who else I love, and this is an unpopular opinion, but I've never wavered on it because I think he's incredibly talented and
Sidney Smith.
a brilliant writer. Hang on, Louis C.K.
Oh, Louis is fucking phenomenal. Did you saw him the same night? No, we saw Kevin the same
Hart,
night.
we saw the same night.
You didn't see Louis when he was here?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was so great.
I bet.
I walked away.
Sad.
I walked away. It was my first time seeing him live, just like it was my first time seeing Kevin. And I said, Kevin's a performer. Louis is a fucking writer.
He's so good.
The writing is
So brilliant.
And I think for people out there who are not stand-ups, for a lot of us, it's the writing is what we enjoy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's process. Yeah. I mean, I like when it finally gets to where it needs to be, and then you can make a room full of people laugh with it. But the writing is where like the magic happens for sure.
Well, and I love the writing, and then I love to see someone be able to use that joke any place, anytime, anywhere, and tweak it if they need to tweak it. I mean, because it can just be one word that you put in or take out that can make the difference of the joke for that particular room.
Yeah.
And I love to see people who can work that way.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I wish I could hire Louis C.K. as a writer.
Why? Write your own shit.
Because I would love one of his jokes.
Well,
It's like buying a brand name handbag.
When you get a chance to meet him, maybe he'll sell you one or something, or he'll help you with a joke.
Yeah, I mean, whatevs. I would either way. I would love it.
Or maybe you get lucky enough to meet him.
That'd be great too, just to meet him.
Luck. I hate when people say that. You've worked. Look, I'm gonna say this to you, like I would say to any comic in a minority group, and I have said it before. You have to work twice as hard to just get to fucking step 1, step 2, step 3.
For sure.
So it is not fucking luck. I just judged the competition, and I beat these people up so bad as a judge because it was the worst fucking thing. This was the worst things I've ever. Oh, it was the worst thing.
Did you make someone cry?
I hope someone left and said I'm never coming back to do comedy again. It was so bad.
Where was it?
I don't want to mention the show or anything like that.
Oh, you're gonna tell me later.
We'll talk later.
You're gonna tell me later.
But it was so bad. I told one. I told one comedian he was gay. I knew you were gay 2 minutes in.
Was that part of his?
His whole set was it.
Oh, just talking about being gay.
What else is there? I've heard that I suck dick jokes before.
Yeah.
Comic get up 2 comics later. Asian comic gets up. Asian. I get it. Same thing I tell black comics. You're black. I get it. This is what white people sound like. What else is there? And so, if you're going to be if you want to be niche-y, and if that's your thing, and that's where your career will be, then that's where it will be. And there are comics who made it that way. But that's you're really cutting your fucking legs off if you're trying to make it.
Yeah.
And not opening up your fucking window.
Well, that's good to be versatile and be able to deliver to the room that you're in and not just one type.
I mean, we were in a room that was full of white people, and they were so bad. One girl was so bad she couldn't get courtesy laughs.
Oh, dear.
And when you can't get courtesy laughs from Caucasian people,
it's painful in those rooms.
Black people, you expect not to get laughs. That I expect nothing if you come with nothing. But white people will at least give you a courtesy laugh. And she got nothing.
Nothing.
And
this was local.
I won't say, but it was. We'll talk. It was bad. It was bad. I just love this. I love this form of art so much that if you come in and you shit on it, one comic, he had notes on his fucking hand. If you shit on it, I cannot.
Yeah, but they got to start somewhere.
Then start it someplace else. Don't start it here. Take that shit back to the mic, get it together, then come in here.
Sad.
What is?
What happened to those poor kids?
What I did to them?
Yes. Never again they're going to try. Never again.
Oh, no, they'll try.
You think?
They'll try. And if they don't, if what I tell you is the worst thing that you feel like it makes you not want to do it, then it's not meant for you.
Okay.
No one's going to be harder on you than your fellow comics. Most comics get on stage hoping to make the other comics in the back of the fucking room laugh.
That's my favorite.
So
many times the room has been quiet, but I can hear the comics laughing, and that's all I need.
And I've taken my beatings. I've taken my fucking hits.
We all have.
I'm saying from comics that I looked up to.
Oh, right.
I've taken my hits. That wasn't funny. That was shit. What was that? Who you think you're supposed to be? I've taken my fucking hits, and I said, okay, let me go back and try it again, figure it out, fix it, and me come back. What do you think of that?
But did they tell you that in front of a room of people to hear?
Did I drag them in to do this, or did they volunteer to do this?
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying too.
They probably weren't expecting harsh criticism from a local comedy club show with the judge. They were probably thinking everybody was getting a participation trophy.
Well, this ain't your night. If you know, this is participation trophy night. This is not your night. I love this craft, man. I won't let you come and shit on it. I won't let you come and shit on it.
Okay.
I can't.
I get it.
I can't.
All right.
Fucking writing, looking at shit on your hand, and then messaging me.
Did you say something about the hand notes?
I did. Are those notes on your hand?
What did he say?
I said there are people who pay to be here. You cannot have. I have a problem with comics who come in with headliners who come in and rip notes out their pockets on weekends.
I see it all the time.
All the time. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Unless you give some type of notice, hey, I'm working out for an upcoming special or something like that. Because Louis C.K. had a book that he had out.
Did he look at it, though?
He started out with it, and then as the weekend went, he got away from it, because he was getting ready for his special he's going to be shooting. I dig that. You're Louis C.K.
He could do that.
Where are you going to work out at except for a sold-out 650-seat club?
Right.
Where people will pay you to work out. You, sir, open mic guy, over here at the corner bar where 6 people are listening, you're not that guy.
You're not that guy.
Put your fucking hand in your pocket. What are you doing? You over here talking about those poor people.
Wash your hands, sir.
I didn't know you were this. Oh, man. I didn't know you were that. I really thought you were going to ride with me on that one. I'm surprised.
Well, I probably would have found a way to be really constructive about it. Like,
I was constructive.
You know how, like in therapy, I'm Jewish, so we do a lot of therapy. So in therapy, they'll tell you when you're like giving someone criticism, you have to say something nice. Say the criticism part.
Yeah, right.
And then say something nice again.
Compliment sandwich.
You sandwich it.
Yes.
So that's how I would have done it.
But if you tell me to make a bologna sandwich and you give me no bread, then all you're going to get is fucking bologna.
Okay.
You gave me you didn't give me what I didn't ingredients to give a sandwich.
They were carb free.
It was so bad. It was so bad that night.
That's hard to watch.
Then I had a guy come up to me at the end. Do you really think that you needed to do that? What do you mean?
Who said that?
This someone that I wanted to say, I don't think you're supposed to be talking to me.
Another comic?
I don't know who this guy was.
Oh.
I was just like, I don't even know who he was. They mean, what if they never come back again? I said, good.
That's rotten.
What is?
Good. Never come back again. Is that nice?
It's not about being nice. This business isn't nice. And you know that.
They call it show business, not show friends.
It sure in the fuck isn't. I'm not going to disclose, but you and I've had a conversation or two. And so it ain't nice.
I know it's not nice. Jerks.
And the other thing is, and we'll get to this, to the murder part, but I do want to say this. When I was coming up, there were so many comics that were ahead of me that didn't pay attention at all. You'd ask questions. Did you watch my set? Could you tell me this? Oh, I didn't. I was busy with this. I was doing this. I was doing whatever. Mm-hmm. I've never forgotten those people. I've never forgotten the people who never gave me 1 ounce of anything. Help, not a writing session, not anything. I would have loved for someone to have been there to help me when I was first doing mics in bars.
Yeah.
To let me know I'm doing this wrong, or if you really want to do this, then this is what you really need to do. Because there's only two kind of comedians. There's people who really want to take this seriously. This is going to be your career, or it's a fucking hobbyist. Figure it out early who you're going to be.
Yeah.
And then don't expect to be treated like this if you're going to be that.
Yeah.
So while people think it's awful, I think it's a good opportunity to have someone say, dude, you got to get your shit together. Get your head out of your ass. You can't come in here like that.
Maybe you've motivated somebody. Maybe you've inspired one of these poor children.
Maybe. And if not, I'll take my fries with a lot of salt, please.
Wow.
so, whatever.
Hey.
I didn't tell you that I was heartless. I didn't tell you that before. Oh, man. Yeah, you got to get to
Well,
that.
I kind of already knew that.
You did not know that.
Of course I did.
How did you know that? We never had talks where you wouldn't know that.
It wasn't you telling me, it was other people.
Told you that I was heartless.
Yeah, always mean.
I'm not mean. I was nothing but a joy with you the 2 times we've worked together.
Yeah, you're fine with me. But the word on the street is, Sidney's mean.
Well, I'm not mean. I require it. So, okay, good.
I was making that. I want to see where we go with that.
Well, I've heard that I'm a dick and I'm an asshole, so that's why I believed you when you said you heard that I was me, because I've heard that said about me before, which I'm okay with actually, because it keeps the slackers away from me.
Peasants.
It's so silly. All right, so what we're gonna do in this podcast is I'm gonna read a story.
Yeah.
About a murderess, and you are gonna give your lovely thoughts as we go.
Yeah, let's do this.
This is not so much for you as for people who've never watched or heard the podcast. I want them to know what's going on.
I want to know about a murderous woman. So out. This is so out of like what I'm like into. I don't watch murder shows. I don't kill anything. Like if a spider gets in the house, I totally like.
This is so odd because
set it free.
Okay, so this is odd because you were the one that reached out to me a few weeks back and said you wanted to do it.
Yes, because I love podcasting.
So you just wanted to do it.
I will talk about any subject to be on a podcast.
If I had known that you did not enjoy this.
I didn't say I didn't enjoy it. I just said
I'm teasing. I would have had you on it.
Just like a peaceful granola kind of hippie.
I would have never thought you were a hippie. That I didn't know about.
I mean, I was in my 20s. I was definitely a hippie, but some of that residual came over into my 40s. Right.
Well, this week's murderess, folks, is Sharon Elizabeth Kinne.
I don't know the name.
Well done.
Thank you.
So Sharon Elizabeth Kinne, she was born November 30th, 1939. She was also known in Mexico as Las Pistoleras. She's an American murderer who is the subject of the longest currently outstanding arrest warrant for murder.
Wait, she's still out there?
In the history of Kansas City, Missouri. So that's where the record is Kansas City. And one of the longest outstanding felony warrants in American history.
Hey, Auntie Sharon, this was Sidney's idea to talk about you. I don't.
Rose knew all about it. Mm-mm. So go to her first.
Nope.
Go get her first.
Remember, I don't judge anybody.
No.
Carry on.
She judged me for judging those slack-ass comics. So her case is the subject of the investigation. If you have not seen it, you can see it on the ID series, A Crime to Remember. So, in 1960, Kinne was associated with 2 mysterious deaths. On March 19th of that year, her husband, James Kinne, was found shot in the head with the couple's 2-year-old daughter playing nearby.
Sad. All the therapy bills for that kid.
Sharon Kinne claimed that the little girl, who had often been allowed to play with her father's guns, had accidentally shot him, and police were initially unable to disprove this theory.
Wait, what year was this?
1960.
Didn't they fingerprint back then? Or is that not a thing yet?
We'll get there.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm just asking questions.
No. It was a thing back then. You're right. It was a thing back then.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm just inquiring. Carry on.
The case was closed as an accidental death and remained that way until the evening of May 27th, when the body of 23-year-old Patricia Jones, a local file clerk, was found by Kinne and a boyfriend in a secluded area. Investigations showed that Jones had been the wife of another of Kinne's boyfriends, and that Jones's husband had tried to break off his affair with Kinne shortly before Patricia Jones went missing. When Kinne admitted to having been the last person to speak with Patricia Jones, she was charged with Jones's death, and upon further investigation of his death, and with the murder of James Kinne.
She's naughty.
Very naughty. The case went to a second trial, which ended within days. Kinne was released on bond following the third trial and subsequently traveled to Mexico before his scheduled fourth trial could be held in October 1964. In Mexico, Kinne and her traveling companion, Frances Pugliese, were soon caught up in another criminal case when Kinne, claiming to have been acting in self-defense, shot and killed a Mexican-born American citizen named Francisco Paredes Ordonez.
Unbelievable.
Who she claimed attempted to rape her. An employee of the hotel in which the shooting occurred, responding to the sound of gunshots, was also wounded but survived. So that investigation showed that Ordonez was shot with the same weapon that killed Patricia Jones. Kinne was convicted in October 1965 of the Mexican crimes and
Wait, hold on.
sentenced.
They didn't take her gun? They just gave it back the first time?
That's what it sounds like. And sentenced
Great
to 10
police
years in
work.
prison. Later lengthened to 13 years after judicial review, Kinne escaped from the Mexican prison in December 1969. Despite extensive manhunts, her whereabouts are unknown.
Brilliant police work.
That's
It's
one
your
of the
tax dollars.
and we're just getting into this, folks. But that's one of the crazy things about these stories that I do, or we used to do, because Jamie Kamai used to do this podcast with me, is that the police work. You're like, you all can't be this bad in every part of the world for the entire time that the human race has had a police force.
So this reminds me of a joke. Not my joke, Tom Segura's joke. I cannot remember which special it was on, but he does a joke, and you can find it on YouTube. Tom Segura, the joke is the first 48. About the show, the first 48.
Yeah.
And he talks about, and it's hilarious. He's a great storyteller. And he talks about the premise of the show being that they have the first 48 hours after a crime to figure it out. After that, they just give up.
They do.
And that's what it sounds like. It's like, did you even try? Do they just stop trying after 4? They're like,
And you're right, because in this TV show, the first 48, I think they say something along those lines. The first 48 is what?
It's critical.
There you go.
49 hours, they're like, time to clock out.
Maybe that's why we keep having murders, because people feel like if I can just get through the first 2 days,
48 hours.
I'm good.
Solid.
They'll never find me.
It's done. It's a wrap.
I live right around the corner from the police station. They'll never get me.
I'll walk right by. I'll bring them donuts.
Riding my bicycle.
Tom Segura has another joke called Bikes.
You are a Segura fan.
Big fan. That's another YouTube, that one.
I had a chance to see Segura last year when he was with Dave Chappelle. Surprised. Dave Chappelle was with Joe Rogan in Vegas. I went to go see that show because I had to see Chappelle live. I'd never seen him. And they had Tom Segura came out, and he did a guest spot, 20-minute guest spot, because they opened with Donnell Rawlins. Mm-hmm. Then Segura came out, then Joe, then Dave, and then they closed the show with Talib Kweli.
That's awesome.
Greatest show I've ever been to.
Oh my gosh. I like Dave Chappelle too.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I'm going to see. Now we got sidetracked. I'm sorry, folks. We're comics.
Oh, that's right.
Going to see Chris Rock in August.
Oh, I would love to. Hey, what do you think about the slap? Just real quick.
Oh, I am no longer a Will Smith fan.
Same.
So I don't. I won't listen to his music. I won't watch any of his movies.
Same.
Not the TV show. His book is sitting in my house in my sitting room. Only because my wife has not finished reading it, and I'm not going to throw a book away that she bought, but nothing else is allowed to be in there.
You can't, just so everybody knows, you can't just do that. You can't just walk up on stage and hit there's a lot of that, by the way. I see videos on TikTok, big TikTok fan, where that happens a lot. People just coming up on stage feeling like they can hit the comic.
Well, and that was another thing that we've always talked about as comics. Where's our security? Because until that happened, no one paid attention. No one gave a fuck. Because you're right. That's not the first time that has happened. That's the biggest name that has ever happened to, and then compounded with the biggest.
Yeah, but people saw that and now they're feeling froggy.
Oh, absolutely. That's why that dude jumped up, got his ass whipped at Dave at the show at the Netflix show that Dave was on when he got jacked.
Yes, I saw that.
Which I don't know how you turn a man's arm at his elbow, like a GI Joe arm, but they fucked that dude up. Good. But I remember getting text messages from friends of mine. I took one and I posted on Facebook, but they were like, "Bro, if I'm in the room and some shit, I'm whooping the motherfucker's ass." I said, "I have no doubt about it." My biggest issue, well, I have huge issues, is one, there's no security at the Oscars. Why is there no security at the Oscars?
Is there really no security? There has to be with all the money in that room.
Right there. Why is there no security here?
Oh, they have to be off to the side somewhere, aren't they?
I guarantee you'll see two big motherfuckers in tuxedos right close by there. No one else will get on that stage. So that was one huge issue for me. The other issue was Will was laughing at the joke.
Yeah.
You laughed at the joke, bitch. But because your little bald-headed wife over here didn't laugh, now you feel like you need to do something.
Yeah, I'm not happy with her either.
I thought Earthquake made some good points on The Breakfast Club. But my buddy Dion, who I do the other podcast, Not As Debatable, he made a great point when we talked about it there. He said, why is everybody in an uproar? He said, Jada been bald the whole time she's been in the public eye. This isn't the first time we've seen this bitch without hair on her head.
Right.
So this is not a big deal.
As far as jokes go, that was so benign.
It wasn't a good joke. It didn't even land really well.
It wasn't even bad.
And so that, it was just, I'll tell you, remind me when we're done, I'll give you I'm sorry to do this on this show, but because it's kind of terrible, but I'll give you a behind the scenes story about that when we're not on.
Juicy.
Now, well, I don't know how juicy it is, but it's something someone shared with me in confidence, so I don't want to share on the podcast. But that was my thing about the slap. So I can't fuck with Will Smith, and I don't fuck with. And this is going to make me sound a certain way. You guys listen to 63 episodes. You don't give a fuck. I don't fuck with grown men who can't handle their business at home.
Yeah.
Get your house in order before you come out here.
Tacky.
My wife couldn't sit at a red table at an Arby's and tell me she was fucking no other dude. There'd be horseradish everywhere. You cannot.
Arby's horsey sauce.
All over the place.
All over.
You cannot let your wife drag you through the street in public and then try to be a boss 2 years later, whatever it was later.
Oh, it's cringy. It's just cringe.
And this bitch won't even, what did Earthquake say? You can see she don't love him because she didn't speak up for him.
No respect.
She never said anything for him.
Right.
Other than I think something came out, we're going to talk about it on Red Table Talk. So, no. And she gets no love. And I used to love Jada. I used to love her.
Yeah, I loved the both of them.
I'm out.
Total turn off. Not into them anymore.
Even though I knew they were two weirdos. I looked past the August shit.
They are weirdos.
Because everyone knew that they're weirdos. I mean, there have been so many whispers about them over the years that made it all the way down to regular people. So it wasn't.
But we accepted them as being weirdos. It was fine. But that was so uncalled for.
Well, I think most people will accept people, whether they're famous or not, as weirdos.
For sure.
As long as you can keep your shit in the house.
Right.
The August shit was the first, and everyone felt sorry for Will.
Dude. Tacky. That should be private.
Jada has
what was the word that she used for that?
Entanglement. We're about to entangle all up in the Darbies.
Yeah.
You're gonna be entangled in horseradish. Right in the eyes.
Right in the eye. I do love a good horseradish.
I love horseradish sauce in my Arby's sandwich, and that's not even real meat.
It's not even real horseradish sauce. It's very hard to find a good horseradish these days, by the way.
I love how your brain works. Because it's like you're on this mission for good horseradish sauce.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to find. Stuff in the store is weak.
All right. I told you what I felt. Was there something more you wanted to say about the slap?
No, I got sidetracked.
And Chris Rock is my favorite comic.
Chris Rock. That was the thing. You're going to see Chris Rock.
Yeah, I'm going to see Chris, and that's my favorite comic living today. That's my guy. That's who I wanted to be when I first started doing comedy. I watched his specials before every show, any night I was doing something.
Aww.
Even if the stage was 6 foot by 6 foot, I was walking back and forth like Chris Rock did on this fucking. I'm like, why am I walking so fast on this fucking stage? Just going back and forth on 6 feet. But yeah, it's my guy, man. So
cool. I like Chris Rock.
Slap that dude. of all people, who said, "What would you done if he had slapped you?" I'd have been whooping Will Smith's ass when y'all came back from 2 commercial breaks.
Chris was so classy about it. You know what makes me sad is like all the kids saw that. Their children. I mean, very sad.
And that's what I'm gonna tell you about that after the show.
Great.
All right. So Sharon Elizabeth was born on November 3rd in 1939 in Independence, Missouri. When she was in junior high, Doris and Eugene Hall moved the family to Washington. By the time Sharon was 15, they had returned to Missouri, where Sharon attended Wim Chrisman High School. 16-year-old Sharon met 22-year-old college student James Kinne at a church function in the summer of 1956. Let me stop real quick because I got a woman on as a co-host with me. That's something else I'm always blown away by. A lot of these women always end up with husbands who are 3 or 4 years older than them when they're teenagers and this dude is an adult. Where are the parents? I could not, there's no way. 16-year-old daughter.
Yeah, but what, that was like in the 60s, you said?
Yeah, 56.
50s. It's a different time. I mean, I guess that still happens, especially in the South. People like with their cousins and shit. So I don't know. Like, but right, that still happens.
You know, I like how you did that. You did it at first, like, yeah, you knew for sure, like you've done, you got evidence you about to lay out. You said, yeah, I think so.
Right?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't go to the South looking for cousins.
Well, you know, a lot of weird TikToks come on my page, and I happen to see these Southern folk that are happy to admit that this is my cousin.
I got to tell you, I like their music, though.
The Southern music?
Yeah, I like country music.
Oh, I don't.
I'm surprised by that. I'm learning new things about you all the time.
I do not. I really have tried. I have a lot of white friends who love the country music.
You say shit like the country music. You know you sound old. Like people say the Netflix. I gotta pay for my Netflix.
The Amazon.
The Amazon.
Oof.
You know what I become addicted to is StockX and my sneaker app.
You got to stop with StockX. They're ripping people off.
How so?
They're selling fakes. They've been sued.
They've been sued, but they had to clean that up, though. They came back in and cleaned that up.
I wouldn't buy from StockX.
No?
No, my son was ordering stuff from StockX, and we put a stop to that.
All right.
After I had to fight one of his purchase battles to get his money back.
Who's he ordering through now, then? What's the hookup?
You know what? I would have to ask him. I don't know, but he still orders stuff. I just don't know from where. There's other alternatives that are better than StockX, but they came under fire. They're under a lot of heat for.
Well, I heard that they had
quite a few.
Before.
Yeah.
Well, I normally get my stuff straight from Nike's sneaker app, so I'll buy my Jordan straight from there. So I've been on a real Jordan kick for like the last 3 months.
I'm into sneakers. I definitely have a shoe obsession, but it's like designer shoes.
Okay, all right.
That's my thing.
Okay. Well, if I was a woman, I'd probably have a designer shoe.
But
obsession.
not like heels and stuff, like sneakers.
Oh, okay.
Designer sneakers.
Yeah, I'm not a designer sneaker. I'm a Nike guy. I got a Nike swoosh in my arm, so I've always been a Nike guy. And I like my J's. Like I'm going through. I think I have, I don't know, probably 100 pair of Nikes right now, and I'm kind of
That's a lot.
getting rid of some and buying other ones. But that's just a Nike. So
Do you sell them?
No, I'll give them. I'll give them. It depends on how long I had them. I might give them for the homeless. Like all my shoes, I could just sell if I wanted to, but I'll give them for homeless and donate them, or I'll give them to a friend's son who can grow into them or something like that.
I'll tell you right now, I will not be giving away any of my shoes. They will be sold. It's very nice of you. I'm not doing that.
Well, we found
I donate shitloads of clothing
okay.
all the time.
Okay.
But the designer stuff, I mean, we're going to make some money back on that investment.
Okay, all right. So, Kinne took leave from his college and returned to Independence, where he married Sharon on October 18, 1956. The couple's marriage license identified 16-year-old Sharon as being 18 and a widow.
Liars.
18, I'll let that pass. If I'm the dude checking his license and a widow, this is where this I can't let this happen.
Doesn't check out.
You push too far.
Yeah.
It's like a 12-year-old coming up to the bar trying to buy cigarettes with a license and he was born in 1956. Come on, man. I can't let this happen.
Yeah. Like it says McLovin from Hawaii. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Oh, such a good movie. When he gets hit by that car.
It's funny.
and the period blood. It's so good.
It's disgusting.
The only thing I thought, and I was watching it with my brother, the only thing I thought was I said, how did that never happen when we were in high school? That so could have happened.
Yeah.
That's so good. You grinding with some chick, she's on a period,
Yeah.
get it on your little corduroy pants.
Yeah, your little corner.
So
Could you imagine? Oh my God, that'd be horrifying.
No, I couldn't imagine because there was a kid in George Emmy who used to say, "Hey, Sid, did you earn your Red Wings?" And I'm like, "What is that? What the hell is that?"
What? Enough. I know exactly. Wait.
I didn't know what it was at first. Then he tells him, like, "You're disgusting." No.
No. What is wrong with people?
Oh, they're dudes who enjoy, for whatever reason, taking that chance.
I am not judging.
Whatever, too late. You've already done it.
I'm
too late.
at peace.
You could judge them
Finding
like
my center and balancing my chakras, and I'm ignoring the Red Wings.
Like that. You could judge that like you judge people who go camping where you obviously see there's a sign that says, "Watch out for bears." Yeah, you go fucking hiking over here anyway.
That makes me nervous.
All right, so she's 18 and a widow. They let her get married. Though later she refused to address the assertion, Sharon told people at the time that she had been married when she lived in Washington to a man who later died in a car accident. The new couple held a second, more formal wedding the next year in Salt Lake Temple after Sharon had completed the process of converting to Mormonism.
Mormons. Good documentary on Netflix.
Which one?
Oh my gosh.
Netflix has got a couple of good docs.
Hang on now. I just posted about it.
Oh, you're talking
the Pray and Obey one.
Yeah, I binged that.
So
I binged a lot of shit.
Interesting.
That was good.
Yeah, it was a good one.
And I'm looking at I've never seen a family that looked more like they were inbred than that family there.
There is, it's called, before I forget the name of it, Soft White Underbelly. It's a docu-series, and I think it's on YouTube. It's not on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And this guy shot this docu-series about a family in the South. I don't know where exactly, and they're very protected by their community. They are all inbred. If you want to see what real inbreeding looks like, that documentary called Soft White Underbelly on YouTube, must-see TV.
Oh my God.
What camera? This one right here? Must-see TV.
Is it I don't
fascinating?
Know, a lot of extra fingers and toes?
There's a very specific look to people who have been inbred.
Okay, all right. I'll have to
definitely check it out. Very interesting. The guy who does it is very kind. He's the only one that's been allowed in to talk to this family. I think their last name is Whitaker. The Whitakers.
Is there a reason why they do it?
They just don't know better.
Okay.
It just kind of keeps happening. There's many generations.
All right. Disgusting. So
super, but it's like a train wreck. You can't not look at it.
No. I'm saying the fact that no one decides that I'm stepping outside of this.
Right. You'll see when you watch it.
So Sharon and James got married, ended up having children and whatnot. James became an engineer, bought a beautiful ranch-style home. First they rented an apartment, then they built this home. Sharon seems to have a problem with spending money. She likes to spend money. He works nights.
She's a shopper.
She's a shopper, but she likes, the occasional extra penis. So by the early 1960s, James Kinne, what?
She's a whore.
How did you say it the first time? Whore. And we're going to get along just fine. That's how I say it to people. Whore. By early 1960, James Kinne was contemplating divorce, partially because of his wife's spendthrift habits and partially because he strongly suspected she was being unfaithful to him. He spoke to his parents about the possibility of divorce.
The gut always knows.
On March 18th, 1960. That's not true. Don't say that. There are a lot of crazy people out there who have you have your own issues, and you're walking around accusing people of cheating, and they're not doing anything. Because somebody at some point, your gut knows.
Your gut knows, honey.
Your gut doesn't know shit.
Always listen to your gut.
Your gut doesn't know shit.
Just listen to me. I'm telling you right now, always listen to your gut. Your gut will always lead you in the right direction. It knows.
It'll lead you right to getting yourself a restraining order, probably. That's where it's going to lead you. Don't listen to the gut.
A little stalking never hurt anybody.
Look, I'm going to tell you what my older brother told me, because I had a girlfriend who always accused me of doing shit. And I was doing stuff. But, no, I was not doing anything. I wasn't doing anything. But I remember him telling me what's up, because I was complaining to him about it. He said, you tell her what I've always told women. Unless you can put your hand on my shoulder and spin me around and say, I got you, I don't want to hear about it. And that's how you need to live your life. You don't know shit. You don't know anything. I remember being 18 years old, worried about my girlfriend at the time cheating. Worried about like an 18-year-old boy would be. Called my mother. This is before my mother became born again saved. She said, why are you worried about it? I said, what? She said, you're not going to know till you're supposed to know. She said, a pussy doesn't change shape. The depth of it doesn't change. You won't know till you're supposed to know. That changed my life. I've never been worried about what any woman was doing after my mother told me that because it made such sense.
Good advice.
Your gut knows. Your gut doesn't know nothing.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not 100% true 100% of the time. Now, people's insecurities sometimes seem like it's your gut talking, but it's not. It's really your brain. But sometimes you do have gut instincts. That's a real thing. Gut instincts are a real thing, Sidney. Do not do the face like, oh, no, you're crazy talk again.
And this is what we do. We make faces at each other. You've made faces.
Yes, but they're justified.
No, they're not.
Gut instincts are a real thing. You don't think they're a real thing?
Your gut instincts is not 100% thing.
I didn't say it was 100%.
Okay, so you just can't tell people, trust your gut.
Well, sometimes you should.
You know when you tell people, trust your gut? When you thought that dude was going to punch you in the face and you ignored it and then he punched you in the face. And then when you talk to your friends and they say, man, you ain't know? Man, something in my gut told me he's going to hit me. Then you can say, trust your gut.
Sure.
But you can't say up front, just walk around trusting your gut that someone's going to hit you in the face. There's a reason why things happen. That's what you got to pay attention to, not your gut.
Whatever.
You got to whatever me.
Because I have trusted my gut, and sometimes I've ignored my gut.
Yeah.
And when I ignore it, I'm usually pissed off because I was right.
Well, okay. I will agree if you have a feeling that something can happen, but you just can't blanket it, trust your gut, because that's not always going to be true. There's too many people out psychos.
No, because otherwise our gut would give us the lottery numbers, and that doesn't happen.
Okay,
I understand.
just want to say, I mean,
Sidney.
I love all of my murderous accomplices, but some of them may not be all the way right. And I don't need them out there, doing shit because someone said
But
trust
this
your
guy
gut.
had a feeling.
Well, fine. He had a feeling, yes. But he probably had a feeling because he smelled dick on his wife's breath. Had nothing to do with his gut. Had to do with his nose. That's what he should have been paying attention to.
All right. She had a dick mouth. Fine.
Because he strongly suspected she was being unfaithful to him. He spoke to his parents about divorcing her March 18, 1960, telling them that Sharon had agreed to give him a divorce if he allowed her to keep the house and the couple's daughter and paid her $1,000. But the elder Kinne's devout Mormons urged James to stay in his marriage. Sharon, too, was thinking about ways out of the marriage. According to John Bodis, she once offered him $1,000 to kill. See, that's why she needed the $1,000. Mm-hmm. She once offered him $1,000 to kill her husband or find someone who would, although he later claimed that she may have been joking.
Yeah, that's a funny joke.
I've never thought about having someone killed.
No, that's terrible.
Well, I've thought about wanting to kill someone because you're pissing me off, but I've never thought about, if I just kill this motherfucker, I could just have some, I could keep the house. I could, this
No.
I don't know how many people even get there.
No, that's terrible. I can't even kill bugs.
You all right over there? You okay over there?
Yeah.
You doing okay, Ashley?
Yeah, I'm good.
James Kinne, according to Sharon Kinne, at around 5:30 p.m. on the evening of March 19th, she heard a gunshot from the direction of the bedroom in which her husband was sleeping. Entering the room, she found 2.5-year-old Dana on the bed next to her father. Dana was holding one of James's guns, a .22 caliber, high-standard, semi-automatic target pistol, and James was bleeding from an apparent gunshot wound in the back of his head. Kinne called the police, but James Kinne was dead by the time the ambulance carrying him arrived at the hospital. Police were unable to recover any fingerprints from the well-oiled grip of the pistol, and a paraffin test for gunshot residue was not performed on Dana or Sharon Kinne. Multiple people, including family and neighbors, told police that James had often allowed Dana to play with his guns. And in a test by investigating officers, Dana proved able to pull the trigger on a gun matching the one that had killed her father. With no evidence to the contrary, investigators ruled the case was accidental homicide.
To think, I'm so paranoid. When my kids were little, I put locks on cabinets and drawers. And back then, they're like, have this gun.
Yeah.
It's loaded.
That's what stuck out to me, too, was like, who lets a 2-year-old, just play with their guns?
I was afraid they were going to choke on gum. Paranoid about everything. Ooh, watch out. Don't touch that.
You almost feel like if it was an accident, you had it coming. Not that I believe that it was an accident. The pistol that killed James Kinne was taken to police custody and never returned to the widow. despite her efforts to reclaim it. She later had a male friend secretly buy her a .22 caliber automatic pistol. When the friend told her that he had registered the gun in her name, she requested that he re-register it under a name other than hers.
Well, of course she did.
With that investigation of her husband's death closed, she was able to collect a life insurance policy valued at $29,000.
That's not great.
Well, for that time, that was great money. Not enough to kill for, but great money for her. Patricia Jones was born Patricia Clements. Now, for folks out there listening or watching, Patricia is going to be the second victim that we talked about at the top of the show. So she was born Patricia Clements, one of 6 children born to Mr. and Mrs. Elmer Clements of St. Joseph, Missouri. After graduating from a local high school, she married Walter T. Jones Jr., her high school sweetheart. Never do that. Trust your gut. Don't do that. Walter Jones enlisted in the Marine Corps shortly after their marriage, and the couple relocated to the West Coast while Jones served. After his discharge from the military, they returned to the Midwest and settled in Independence with their 2 children. By 1960, almost 5 years into the marriage, Patricia was working as a file clerk for the IRS while her husband sold cars. Despite his marriage and children, Walter Jones reportedly had a wandering eye. On April 18th, he met Sharon Kinne when she bought a Ford Thunderbird from his dealership using some of the insurance payout from her husband's death. The two began an affair shortly thereafter. Kinne viewed him as a prospect for a second husband, but Jones was uninterested in leaving his wife despite the rockiness of their relationship. Child support's a bitch.
Yeah, sure is. I used to work in the car business. It is sleazy.
When he declined to go on a trip to Washington. Is there a story there?
So many. I spent 13 years in the car business. That's an episode all by itself.
Well, there's okay, all right, okay. I didn't know if there was something. I didn't want to step on your story if you had one.
No. Go ahead, Karen.
When he declined to go on a trip to Washington with her in May, Kinne reluctantly went with her brother instead. Although the couple reunited on May 25th, shortly after Kinne returned to Missouri, the relationship was quickly set on rocks when Kinne told Jones that she was pregnant and he was the father of the baby. Jones, instead of responding with what Kinne expected to be an agreement to divorce his wife, ended the affair. According to Kinne's later testimony on the afternoon of May 26, she contacted Patricia Jones at Jones's office. Of course she did. And told her that Walter Jones was having an affair with Kinne's sister.
Bitch.
Kinne then met with Patricia Jones that evening to discuss the matter further before dropping her off near the Joneses' house.
Cuckoo.
Patricia Jones never made it to her house that evening, according to her husband. Walter Jones filed a missing persons report with police the next day and began calling people he thought might have seen his wife. He got a lead when he spoke to friends of Patricia's who carpooled to work with her. The friends told Jones that Patricia had reported receiving a phone call that day from an unnamed woman who wanted to meet with her. She had asked the carpool driver to drop her off at a street corner in Independence, which he had done. The occupants of the carpool had seen a woman waiting for Jones in another car at the shop, but did not recognize her. They nevertheless provided a description of the unknown woman to Jones. Suspicious of the identity of the unknown woman based on the carpooler's general description, Walter Jones called Sharon Kinne and asked if she had seen or spoken to his wife. Kinne allowed that she had indeed seen Patricia that day. She had met her to tell her about Walter's affair. Sleazy, man.
Totally. You're doing a very nice job reading this, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I was thinking about? While you're telling a story in my mind. It's like, whoop, over here. When you're in like middle school and we all had to take turns reading out of like the chapter book.
Yeah.
Did you ever like try to count ahead to see where yours was going to be so you could like rehearse?
I did.
Oh, the anxiety.
Well, I did because I had a terrible stuttering problem as a kid.
Did you?
I did.
So you felt like if you could like rehearse it,
Yeah.
you'd be better prepared when it was your turn?
Yeah, and it didn't work.
Never.
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 It was really, really bad. I shouldn't say really bad. Wasn't like I had to go to speech therapy or anything. I was this close to probably having to go, but it was pretty bad, and so I was really nervous about public speaking.
Terrifying.
And the whole thing. And I remember we had to recite the Gettysburg Address, which is a weird thing. You got 30 kids in the class, and you're making them all recite the same fucking thing. But we had to recite it.
Oh, you all had to do the exact same thing.
Yes.
Not like take a line.
Nope. That was the entire fucking thing. And
cool idea.
Huh?
Cool idea, Teach. That's why. Okay.
it took me 2 days. Like they just skip me, just skip me. And my teachers kept skipping me, and finally they all took me out in the hallway and pep talked me to go up and do it. I had to do it, and I went in and I stuttered my fucking way all the way through the Gettysburg Address. I remember going to sit down, and the teacher would say your grades out loud in front of the class.
What?
Yeah, It's
like public shaming.
No, I was in an honor program, so that's just kind of how they did it.
Sorry.
So she said, Sidney, you got an A. And I remember sitting back there, my friends, one looked at me. I wish I could remember this kid's name. He said, how the fuck did you get an A? What
That was a pity A is what that was.
And I took it.
I would have too.
How dare you? You can't call it a pity A. It was I earned that A.
All right. You already have a pep talk in the hallway. Nobody else required that. When does that happen?
Look, I earned that A, though.
Yeah, you sure did, buddy. Good job.
I hate you. So, according to Kinne, I hate you. According to Kinne, I've told that story a million times. No one has ever shit on my A. How dare you shit on my A. When I win my first Oscar, I don't want you there.
Yeah, fine.
According to Kinne, she last saw Patricia where she dropped her off near Jones's house, speaking to an unknown man in a green 1957 Ford. Based on Kinne's admission over the phone, Walter Jones met with her late Friday evening and insisted she give him more details about where his wife was. He later admitted to going so far as to hold a key to her throat threateningly. Kinne's response.
What were they making keys out of back then? My key couldn't do shit.
What's that? Me, bitch.
Had a little rubber stopper on the top of my key.
You didn't show with a fucking razor blade or anything? You thought the key was going to be it? I don't know.
All right.
So they had that conversation. So shortly before midnight, and within hours of Kinne's conversation with Jones, she and Botis had found the body of a woman in a secluded area approximately 1 mile outside of Independence. So she...
I got to be honest. I'm not really following the story anymore. I don't really know what's happening. Who are all these people finding things?
What are you talking about? You're not following the story anymore.
I mean, I'm trying so hard. But I'm thinking about your hallway pep talk. I mean, what did they say to you?
It doesn't matter. I don't want to tell the story.
Was it like, you can do it? Like, what?
I don't want to share any parts of my life with you anymore. I mean, I shared a little piece of me. And
okay, so there's a key. They found a body. It was the lady.
This is your way of loving podcasting?
I really love podcasting. This is great.
So she and her lover found this body, and the body was dressed in a black sweater and yellow skirt. Was soon identified as the missing Patricia Jones.
Tragic.
Okay, so let me recap for you.
Wait, I want to know, where are they now? The daughter plays with guns? Where is she?
Well, Google, I think, will probably help you figure that out.
You didn't get that detail?
Why would I need that detail? She didn't end up dead.
No, because that's interesting. Like, where's the daughter?
You know what I love? I love that I can't even finish this story. You jump into a whole nother chapter.
Attention span of a gnat.
You should have told me that when you said, hey, I want to do the podcast.
It's more fun to just let you figure it out. What was her name? I want to look it up. The daughter?
I'm not going to tell you now until after, because I think you will probably pick up your phone and start Googling.
I kind of want to.
Yes. Do not pick that phone up. We are on camera. People will see you. Pick up your phone.
You know what else I want to do? I want to check and look at what the dogs are doing on my camera, on the house camera.
Is this your way of telling me you don't have any?
No,
I'm trying to say.
I'm very interested. But I can also be thinking about what are the puppies doing right now.
Is this? Oh, man, something just flashed before my eyes of you sitting at dinner with some dude on the first date, and he's chatting away, trying to get to know you, and you slow turning. What's that?
Just let me check my phone.
Yeah, just let me see what the dogs
it's right
are
there.
doing. I have it.
They're so cute.
Investigators immediately began to question Sharon Kinne, James Botis, and Walter Jones. So all of these folks, all three of them, she and both her boyfriends are going to be accused of killing this woman. All three were questioned on May 28th. Jones and Botis both gave written statements admitting to have been dating Sharon Kinne, and both agreed to lie detector tests. Kinne gave an oral statement to police, but declined to sign a written one or take a lie detector test. I think we kind of know what happened there, right?
Someone can decline to take a lie detector test? Like,
They
no,
can't make you take one.
I don't know.
You knew that already.
Never even had a speeding ticket. I don't know what goes on.
While police questioned potential suspects and witnesses, other investigators focused on processing the crime scene. Repeated attempts were made to find the bullet that had passed through Jones's body and the murder weapon, including the sifting of dirt at the crime scene for bullets and the deployment of a troop of Boy Scouts to search for a gun. Yes, Boy Scouts. They brought a troop of Boy Scouts out to look for the gun.
Slim pickings, huh?
They didn't have a lot going on back then.
Yeah. Could you imagine, like, the parents okaying that? We need your kids.
I think that, but in the 60s, that's when people really believed in the Boy Scouts. That's before everyone knew that they were being molested.
You can do it.
Right. It was like, oh, yeah, let's get this in.
I have a story about that.
About what?
Boy Scout molestation. My best friend in high school.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I hope she doesn't listen to this. I mean, it made news. It was like made news.
Oh, well, then it's out there already.
Yeah. Her dad, Boy Scout troop. Was that what they call it? A troop?
Yes.
Leader?
Yeah. He was
He did it to a lot of kids, including his own sons.
I love that you whisper, though there's a mic right in front of you.
I feel like this should be ASMR. Are you getting the tingles?
I wonder what they're doing back there with you watching
Sleeping.
you do that.
They're probably like, get your dirty hands off the mic.
I was going to say something else, but I'm not. I'm going to wait till the next time we do this.
Great.
So she was tried 3 different times for killing her husband. And the third trial for the murder of James Kinne, originally scheduled to begin early in June 1964, began instead on June 29th. Assistant prosecutor Donald L. Mason declared at jury selection that he intended to death qualify the jury, a process in which a prosecutor parental that one I cannot get out. So he does his job.
Pep talk?
So he does.
Sound it out.
First
syllable.
Do I need a pep talk? I would normally know this word.
What is it?
Peremptoryly.
I have no idea what you just spelled.
All right then. So
It was too fast. I need more processing
is that
time.
what it was?
Yeah,
I spelled it too fast.
Peremptoryly. Yeah, I don't know what you just spelled.
So for people out there who know what that word means or says, put that in your mind. Challenges any juror who automatically opposes the death penalty. And jury selection once again took more than 12 hours in one day. John Bolt's testimony in this trial remained contradictory as to whether he believed Kinne's offer had been intended seriously. So this is going back again, folks, to the $1,000 offer that he said that was a joke when she offered $1,000 to kill her husband. A new witness, a female acquaintance of Kinne's, testified that Kinne had once joked that the woman should get rid of the woman's old man like Kinne did, but defense cross-examination highlighted inconsistencies between this testimony and a similar quote the woman had offered at a previous deposition. For the first time in any of her trials, Kinne took the stand on the last day of this trial to issue a categorical denial of all charges. The all-male jury deadlocked 7-5 in favor of acquittal in this trial, resulting in a second mistrial. That is weird.
All male, huh?
Yeah, that they didn't convict her.
She must have been hot.
That's what I was thinking. And no, I did not go look at the pics. I never look at the pics of the women until afterward. Because I don't want to have any preconceived notions about, like, oh, she's hot or she's this or she's that, or why would you even sleep with
I'm
that?
betting on that she's hot.
Well, we'll look up after.
Yeah.
We'll look up after. So, arrest and investigation and trial. Police responding to a Hotel Nevada arrested Kinne on charge of homicide and assault. So this is in Mexico with a deadly weapon. Kinne maintained that she had not intended to harm Ordonez, merely to frighten him, and that she had fired her weapon at a ruta because she feared that he too was coming to attack her. Police searched Kinne's purse, finding a gun and 50 shells. And in the couple's room at Hotel Jen, where they found 2 more guns
Stupid name.
and another supply of shells. Authorities took Francis Pugliese into custody there, initially holding him without charge and later filing
Is he
charges.
French?
Yeah, there you go.
Is he?
I don't know. But
think so.
it does
Yeah,
sound French,
yeah,
doesn't it?
sounds French.
And later filing charges of entering the country illegally and carrying an unlicensed gun. The gun found in the couple's room that night was later proven through ballistics to be the same gun that killed Patricia Jones in 1960. Are you keeping up with this now?
Yeah, I got it.
But because Kinne had already been acquitted of that crime, she could not be charged again, for it was based on new evidence. Double jeopardy for people who've never seen the movie. Pretty good movie.
Good movie.
Was
Good
that,
flick.
Was that Tommy Lee and
Ashley Judd.
Ashley Judd? Yep. That was when she was young and hot.
Yeah, what happened to her? Oh my God.
Some people who get old don't want to get old.
A lot of work.
Pugliese was held at the Palacio de la Cambre, while Kinne was initially placed in the women's prison before being transferred to La Cambre. I may have chopped that up both times. For her trial.
No one's paying attention. It's fine.
Someone's paying attention. You know what? People listen to this podcast. I want you know that lady? Mm-hmm. I can't believe this.
Yeah, absolutely.
The couple were arraigned on September 26th and held for trial. In October, Kinne's attorney, Higino Lara, filed a recurso de amparo, similar to a writ of habeas corpus, asserting that Mexico was violating Kinne's constitutional rights by holding her for a shooting committed in self-defense. The request was denied because it's Mexico. I threw that part in. And both Kinne and Pugliese were tried in the summer of 1965. Pugliese, cleared of the charges against him, was deported to the United States. Never hear that often.
Deported to the United States.
But Kinne was convicted on October 18th of the homicide of Ordonez. Despite rumors that she would receive probation and be deported like Pugliese, Kinne was instead sentenced to a 10-year prison term for the crimes. When she was officially notified of the sentence the next day, she asserted that she would appeal her conviction. Kinne was returned to the women's prison to serve her sentence. There she was nicknamed La Pistola, the gunfighter, a nickname subsequently adopted by the Mexican press. Kinne's appeal, rather than overturning her sentence, lengthened it. The 3-man Superior Court, which heard her case, overturned one aspect of her conviction, charges of attempted robbery, but upheld her murder conviction and increased her sentence from 10 to 13 years, saying that her original sentence had been too lenient. That's when she should have kept your mouth shut.
Right. Zip it.
On December 7, 1969, Kinne was not present for a routine 5 p.m. roll call at the prison where she was serving her sentence, but her absence was not officially noted until she also failed to show up at a second roll call later that evening.
Someone let her free.
The news of her disappearance was not reported to Mexico City police until 2 a.m. the following morning.
Because she was hot. Some guard let her out with the promise of a little you-know-what.
Man, I got to really know what she looks like now.
Yeah, you got to look her up. There's no way she's not hot.
A manhunt was then arranged, initially focusing on the northern Mexican states, due to authorities believed that Kinne may have been heading for the last known whereabouts of her former inmate, to whom she had grown close while they were in prison together, but also encompassing countrywide transport hubs, and eventually circling back to Mexico City area. American authorities, including the FBI, were also alerted of the belief that Kinne may have been attempting to work her way back into her native country, but the FBI noted that it was unlikely to have jurisdiction in the case.
She must have been a smooth talker.
You gotta smooth something. News reports of the time reported numerous theories about Kinne's escape, including that she had bribed prison guards, that she may have enlisted the help of a supposed boyfriend who was a Mexico City policeman, that Kinne's mother had been involved in the escape plan, that a former Mexican Secret Service agent had assisted in her escape, and that Kinne may have disguised herself as a man to effect her escape. A more modern theory speculates that the family of Francisco Paredes Ordonez had helped her escape and then killed her.
How old would she be now? Would she be dead?
Very possibly. I think she was born in 1939, if I remember off the top of my brain.
Yeah. We don't have to worry about her.
More than 40 years after her escape, Kinne remains at large, her whereabouts and the ultimate fate unknown. Investigators have speculated that Kinne had already crossed the border from Mexico and got into Guatemala, so that was another thing that some people thought may have happened. And that kind of mooted the whole purpose of a Mexico manhunt. if she's in Guatemala. Current status. Kinne's arrest and conviction in Mexico had implications for the status of her Missouri legal entanglements. Ooh, entanglements.
Entanglement.
Because she was being held in Mexico on October 26, 1964. The scheduled date for her fourth trial in the murder of her husband. Kinne's $25,000 bond was revoked on that date, though the United Bond Insurance Company, which had posted the bond, argued that paperwork irregularities rendered the issuance of Kinne's bail illegal. The court ordered the company to forfeit the bond. Kinne was reportedly concerned about the monetary implications of this forfeiture. I could always use the money. The Altus Times Democrat quoted her saying, I don't intend to spend all my life in jail.
Tricky lady, huh?
Very tricky.
Let's look at her picture.
We do it afterwards.
I guarantee she's hot.
Yeah, you know what? Since we are on video, we will look at the picture. We'll look up the picture. I've never asked or had anyone ask to look up the picture. Oh, look on your phone because I forgot I'm not on the internet here.
All right.
What's
her name?
I guess I'm not.
Sharon?
Yeah, Kinne. Kinne.
Kinne?
Yep.
Go. I mean, not as hot as I was expecting.
Is she hot for 1956? Yeah, I wouldn't have gave that up.
No.
How does she?
Disappointing.
She had skills, though. Are her lips full and perky?
The bottom one looks good.
All right. That's where the action happens.
Yeah.
All right. Any thoughts before we go?
Thoughts about what?
The story. Such a dork.
I really enjoyed the story.
Okay.
I did not know about Sharon, never heard of her before, and now I know about a female murderer.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Wait. I like how you kind of just put the bow on that there.
Thank you, Sidney.
It's kind of like an old Sears bow, like they used to wrap gifts.
That's like a hallway pep talk.
For the story that you just heard, it was sourced on murderpedia.org. Thank you guys.
Did you say Murderpedia?
I did.
That's a thing.
That is a thing. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. We do appreciate you. I'd like to thank Ashley Rose again for coming out. I appreciate you for doing it.
Me.
Yeah, we'll see how this works out after the show. We got a lot of post show notes we got to go, folks.
A lot of editing.
Do not forget to go ahead and shoot a link out to your friends. Let everyone know about the podcast Murderess. And for all of you, thank you guys. We'll see you next week. And don't forget, like I always like to say, be aware of your surroundings.
Follow your gut.
Do not follow your gut.
Follow your gut.
Crazy person.